let's talk about Giallo movies. I'm not going to give a super detailed breakdown into the entire history of the subgenre, otherwise we'll be here all day, but I just want to introduce you to a genre that honestly I don't hear much recognition for.
Throughout the late 60s and early 70s, they dominated Italian cinema. To describe it broadly, they were usually crime stories involving the unravelling of a mystery or murder. Detectives solving a ghastly crime, protagonists that witness something they shouldn't that they try to figure out, and always containing grisly murder and death sequences. The genre is also hyper-sexualised with many erotic overtones, and the women are almost universally stunningly beautiful. It's that age-old connection between sex and violence that horror delves into a lot. The films are also unique in that they usually really dive into the mindset of their characters, be it madness, alienation and paranoia, or their ambiguous sexuality. Hallucinations, delusion and mistrust of one's own memory are common themes in the Giallo world. The name comes from a series of cheap mystery and crime novels that were popular in Italy that had yellow covers, Giallo being Italian for yellow. The books themselves were mostly just translation of popular Western authors' stories, such as Agatha Christie and even Edgar Allan Poe. The name translated onto Italian thriller or horror movies due to their similar themes, and sometimes are titled as spaghetti slashers in the same vein as spaghetti westerns. While the mystery and violence is often why people are drawn to these films, the biggest draw for me is the style. Holy shit, even the worst Giallo film oozes some dazzling aesthetics. The editing, soundwork and cinematography are often unbelievable to witness and listen to. Just look at any frame of Suspiria. It's a dark rainbow. Hell, look at Blood and Black Lace. The film's from 1964, yet looks prettier than a large majority of modern horror films. That deep blood red dominating the scene with the green of her face clashing, it's truly art. Lizard in a Woman's Skin follows a woman named Carol who suffers from insomnia and anxiety. She has a party girl neighbour named Julia who, in true free love fashion, has drug-fueled orgies. Carol feels a strange connection with Julia and often dreams of her. Then one night, the dream turns dark and she stabs her to death. A few days later, Julia's body is discovered and the crime scene is eerily similar to Carol's nightmare.
It's an intriguing mystery. The whole film is great at making you believe you're just on the cusp of solving the murder, and then just at the right time introducing a twist that makes you question your own deductions.
It's a great case to try and solve alongside the characters, and it leaves you washed in doubt right up until the final scene where, in classic fashion, the detective reveals the truth all along. The casting crew, man, you can't get much better for a Giallo flick. You got the legend Lucio Fulci as the writer-director, Ennio Morricone doing the music, 4-time David de Donatello Award winner Florinda Balkan, Stanley Baker, and a ton of other Giallo familiars. Stanley Baker especially is awesome in this. He's just so aggressively no-nonsense and cuts right through the movie on a mission. He's also whip-smart, and even when it seems the case is tied in a bow, he's sly enough to know to dig a little deeper.
I wouldn't know, but I do know if I can't find some real logical motive, I'll end up with a nut house myself.
The film never stays still, it's constantly moving and shifting. There's few moments the camera actually stays motionless, it's always following the action with a metric ton of fast zooms, whip pans and extreme close-ups. The editing is also frantic, with a lot of focus on making a scene chaotic. It's all designed to perfectly capture the anxiety Carol is going through, along with the confusion all the characters involved are struggling with. It's a tense film. There's an extended chase scene around the halfway mark, and not only is it beautifully shot, it's super suspenseful. And that's because of how unsure you are with everything in the film. I didn't really know what was going to happen while watching.
The dream sequences are the real highlight of the film. There's a lot of surreal imagery that constantly flows into one another. It really makes you feel like you are inside this fever dream.
There's a lot of creepy imagery that truly gets under your skin, along with some horrifyingly disorienting sequences that capture the panic Carol is going through. It's charged with a whole range of emotions, but the main piece being the strange erotic attraction she holds for Julia. The scenes where they're getting it on are just so beautifully filmed.
Where can I find him?
Didn't he tell you to come here and meet him?
If you tell me where he is, I will pay you 20 quid.
Easy there, big spender.
The film is just full of variety, your eyes are never bored, and the colour palette, as expected, goes over the entire rainbow. It's not as moodily stylised as other Giallo films, but there's just a ton to take in every scene. I especially love this scene in the cellar. It's just so beautifully set up, with the bricks fading into complete darkness, the camera following the man slowly in the underground. The music is stunning. It really reminded me of the audio from something like Hannibal. It's weird and otherworldly, but no less threatening and scary. It makes for a striking atmosphere that, when paired with the visual style for the film, creates an alarming experience.
The only thing that's kind of annoying is this 70s bass line that permeates through a lot. It feels more suited to a porno than it does a horror movie.
The violence in the film is used sparingly, but when it does appear, it's impactful, and the Crimson River flows true. In typical Giallo fashion, it's almost luminous red, but just the right amount so that it doesn't look fake. The most notorious scene involves 4 dogs being gruesomely vivisected open, and even by today's standards, it's pretty damn violent. The way they're trussed up and framed with white dogs and a white background, then having the bright red innards gushing forth, is macabre beauty. The effect was so real that the special effects artist Carlo Rambaldi actually went on trial and would have faced 2 years in prison because it was believed he used real dogs that he tortured live just for the movie. He ended up having to show the prop in court to prove it was faked and had several crew members testify it wasn't true. 9 years before Cannibal Holocaust director Ruggero Deodato would go through a similar high-profile case.
A Lizard in a Woman's Skin is a great movie, and I think it's the perfect introduction into the genre for a newcomer. It contains all the best elements of a Giallo film without overwhelming you with any singular element. If you think you like what you see, definitely give this murder mystery film a